This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and today, as my special guest, I have a woman who I recently posted a match with right on this channel from SWE Fury. She is an SWE Fury competitor, a Mission Pro competitor, a former very serious cosplay player, I guess. That's what they might be called.
Cosplay. Mark's cosplayer.
Vertvixen, which is one word, by the way, not two like some people think. How are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you doing today?
Good. And not only did I post a full match of yours that you were victorious in, but I also posted a match earlier today featuring the women's champion of SWE Fury, Miranda Gordy, and you actually helped her retain her title. What were you doing sticking your nose in that Brazilian wrestler's business?
I mean, it's not really that I helped Miranda retain the title. It's more or less the fact that I just didn't think Christy was worthy of going against her for the title and that I should have been in that spot. So it was really my way of telling Christy, hey, this should have been me and not you, girl.
Okay, so it's not the reformation of a girl's version of Bad Street USA in SWE Fury.
That would be cool, but I'm looking out for Vertvixen here. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, you seem like the type, and I mean a reformation of the Freebirds. Miranda comes out to Bad Street USA, which she calls him Uncle Michael. He sings that song. Have you worked with Miranda yet in the ring? She looks like she's really tough.
I have not worked with Miranda yet in the ring, no. And yes, she does look like she's very, very tough. But no, I have not had that opportunity yet. Maybe one day, but not yet.
I see you have a ring on. In that other interview that I watched of you, you were engaged. So did you finally tie the knot?
Oh, God. In 2016? No, I am not. This ring is for my father. He passed away in 2017. It's got his fingerprint on it, so I always have him with me. The person I was with in 2016, I am no longer with, and I am currently very happily with Prince Adam. And hopefully one day there will be a ring on this finger in the future, but hopefully soon, Adam.
Prince Adam, any relation to the He-Man character, Prince Adam?
No. Prince Adam, his name derives from a lot of other different influences. He has a big Prince himself is actually a big influence on him. Prince Adam, as in Prince Adam from Beauty and the Beast, and I know there are lots of others as well, but no, it doesn't. Not He-Man, not He-Man.
Well, yeah, I was a big He-Man fan before wrestling, so I was just curious. So I guess that might be his guitar behind you.
It is his, yes. He is an avid guitar player. He's got a couple back here, so.
And the guy you were engaged to was an artist, an actual artist. Now you're with a musical artist. Is that something you're into, like very artistic people, because you're artistic yourself with your cosplay outfits and everything?
Well, I mean, Prince Adam himself, he is a wrestler. He's my boyfriend and one of my trainers, the guy that originally, in my opinion, helped me really get all of my base and foundation, and currently still, he sits me down and he sits me down and we watch tape together and he studies stuff with me and he's constantly critiquing my stuff. And I am so grateful to have him. And I would just consider him an artist in general because he's an artist in the ring. And yes, he's a musical artist and he paints. Like, he's just an overall very creative type. And yes, I do like creative types, but I also like men that are complete badasses, which is exactly what Adam is. So I'm very grateful. I found the full package.
And you mentioned you were a Prince fan. I was as well. What did you think about his Purple Rain movie from the 80s? Did you ever watch that?
Oh, so I won't lie to you. I was, I've never not liked Prince, but I'm not really the big avid Prince fan. It's Adam that's the big avid Prince fan. Prince is one of his biggest influences. And so I listened a lot more to Michael Jackson growing up. Prince is absolutely incredible and an amazing artist. I love everything Prince has done, by the way. I'm just going to state that because amazing.
Any favorite song of either Prince or Michael Jackson the fans like to hear about musical tastes?
I mean, Smooth Criminal is a great one. Raspberry Beret by Prince. That's one that Adam likes to play a lot, and I love it. Those are the two that come to mind off the top of my head. My musical taste is all over the place. Basically, really the only kind of music I'm not a big fan of is jazz. And that's kind of about it. Otherwise, I really like everything. So,
Is Prince Adam involved in SWE Fury as well?
he should be soon. Yes. So we'll see on the 12th. I don't want to like give anything away that may or may not be in the sense of like he will be there the 12th. Yes. So I'm very excited for that because he is extremely talented and I cannot wait for SWE Fury to see I can't wait for them to see his talent.
He might be there to hit your opponent over the head with one of the guitars if you get into trouble.
I mean, he is the biggest Mexican you've ever seen. He is the Chicano kaiju. You never know. Like, he is a complete badass in that ring.
And as far as December 12th, Greenville, Texas, about 50 miles outside of Dallas, that's the next big SWE Fury show. I'm actually going to be there covering it live as part of my promotional deal I'm doing with them. Do you know who your opponent is yet for that big CW network taping?
I do not. So yes, it is December 12th in Greenville, Texas. The start time is 6 p.m. for anybody interested in going. It's at the 6th grade center gym. There's going to be a lot of amazing people there. We've got WWE Hall of Fame members, Teddy Long, as well as Mark Henry. And we also are going to have wrestling legend Kevin Sullivan there. There's just more people that I'll list, but it's definitely something that I definitely recommend that if you can go, you should go. Check it out. And I totally derailed, I think, from your original question. So I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. You don't know your opponent yet. That
I don't. I don't know my opponent yet. I mean, I love a chance at the belt, right? Like I would love a chance at that belt. I think that I have now proven myself more than once at SWE that I am deserving of a chance at that belt. And if not, then I just want to prove to Christy as to why she doesn't have the belt. So maybe me and Christy will have a one-on-one again. We've gone 1-for-1. I pinned her in our tag match, and yes, she might have pinned me in our singles, but I think it's time for me to show her who I really am.
And for people that don't know about Chrissy, she was in AEW for a couple matches, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. She did a few AEW dark matches, and she is exceptionally talented and somebody that an amazing competitor that I would love to face off in the ring again. That being said, I will destroy you, Christy.
You're definitely vicious in there. I actually enjoyed editing the 3 girls matches from SWE Fury that I've edited so far. And that's saying a lot because often with some of the Canadian female matches I've edited in recent years, I actually get very frustrated and I have to cut large chunks out of the matches where some of the moves maybe don't look like they're hitting hard and so forth. But I notice you guys are hard hitting and you guys look like you know what you're doing in the ring, or you girls, I should say. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your training? There's some fans on here like Dakari who wants to know why you became a pro wrestler and what does Vertvixen mean? What does being Vertvixen mean to you?
So I'll start with my training. I started training at America's Academy of Pro Wrestling, AAPW, here in Austin. I've also, like I said before, I train under my boyfriend, Prince Adam. And I am currently training under Jazz and Rodney Mack at the Dog Pound in San Antonio. So shout out to them as well. And now Thunder Rosa is also involved with it. So she will also be part of my training. So I'm very stoked about that. And the story as to why I became a pro wrestler is kind of a crazy one. Short and simple, I stumbled upon Total Divas because I won't lie to you. And sometimes I'll just be completely honest. I really didn't know completely what wrestling was until the end of 2018. I had heard of kind of wrestling, Hulk Hogan and The Rock and blah, blah, blah. But for me, The Rock was the Scorpion King. And I wasn't 100% sure, like, really what wrestling was. And Total Divas, they would show clips of it, of the women's wrestling and specifically. And these women were they're superheroes. They were complete badasses in the ring. And it just shocked me watching them and seeing them with the way they cut their promos, the way they were in the ring, how athletic they were, how hard hitting they were. I was like, I need to do this. This is everything that I've done in my life combined into one thing. And I looked up a school. I found America's Academy of Pro Wrestling, and I fell in love with wrestling. I started watching Raw and SmackDown, and really too, it was seeing Becky Lynch that kind of really was like, okay, I want this, like she's who I want to be in life because she's so freaking amazing. So my wrestling story isn't your typical, I watched it as a kid. I wish it was. I wish I had watched it as a kid. It is a recent new love for me. I'm playing a lot of catch up on watching old matches and catching up on history. And once again, I'm so grateful for Adam for that because he knows exactly where to point me and shows me the coolest stuff. But being Vertvixen, what does that mean to me? It means that I'm going to give everything my all at all times, that I'm going to push myself and my body beyond limits that I never thought that I could. I'm doing things in wrestling that I legit thought that I could never, ever do in life. And now I just want to continue to take that steps further. I also I want to show everybody out there that you can get in that ring and not only be who you are, me being a complete nerd, I'm 100% a nerd, but you can also be, like you were saying, like a hard hitter and a complete badass. And really, it kind of too lets me be the video game character that I've always wanted to be, that I started kind of portraying myself as through cosplay, that now I'm really taking that step into. I just want to show too, like little girls and everybody out there that like you can do whatever the hell you want with your life. Like you can live your dreams and do whatever you want. And that's a lot. I'm sorry, but that's just me throwing it all to the wind there.
This fan also says you're the badass geek queen he describes you as.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You have a fan, Daniel Smith, watching from England. He says, How are you doing today?
Fantastic. I've got coffee, I've got BCAs, and I'm probably going to stream after this. So we're doing great.
Very good. Jefferson says you should go by VV Vixen, then you can be Triple V.
Triple V. I mean, I am the game, question mark.
There's another fan on here, Matt R, that wants to know your all-time favorite video game.
So the first one has to be Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, because that is the game that got me into gaming. So no question there. I played that backwards and forwards and had to get everything, the gold skulltulas, the milk bottles, like all that stuff. So that's the game that got me into gaming. So it holds a really special place in my heart. The new God of War is absolutely amazing. And then I also have to give a shout out to Darksiders because Darksiders was probably one of the most artistically influential games on me. I used to be a 3D video game artist, and most of my style was based off that game. And I have the Horseman logo tattooed on my arm for that reason. And then I have the Hylian logo, which is for Zelda, on my ankle. So you gotta rep, guys.
You actually have a large amount of tattoos. I noticed when I was looking at your match the other day. How many do you have?
Not as many as I want. 1, 2, I've got one on my back, so 3 and 4. I've got one on my ankle. Yes, I only have 4. I want more. I want more.
Maybe some of them are just big, so it looks like maybe you have a combination. But is the one on your back large?
It is, yeah. It goes from like the base of my neck down. It's probably like this big on my back.
Carlos is checking in from Miami. He says, how's it going? Retro Tinkering wants to know your workout routine.
So currently I'm doing, I'm one of those people that I follow a lot of, social media influencer models on Instagram because honestly, they have kind of the best workout routines. So I'm doing this one right now by Bodies by Rachel, and she's absolutely amazing. I'm really enjoying it. Gives you macros and stuff, even though I started calculating my own macros now. But I really enjoy that one. And so normally on a good week, I'm in the gym 5 to 6 days. On a bad week, 3 to 4. And then wrestling training is 3 days a week. So the goal is to, I mean, the ultimate goal one day would just be able to be in a ring like every freaking night, rolling around and trying stuff out and being in the gym every freaking day. But right now I'm in the ring about 3 days a week for training. More obviously if we have shows. And then in the gym, like I said, good days, good weeks, 5 to 6 days, bad weeks, about 3 to 4. Really bad weeks, like once, but those are more rare nowadays.
Sam believes AEW is going to snap you up by the end of next year.
That would be amazing.
Jefferson wants to know if you prefer being a heel. You seem to have a heelish side to you, but you also have a very nice side to you looking at your other interview that I watched. So you seem like you could go either way.
This is such a weird question, right? But my preference is just to be aggressive. Like, if I have to get my point across in more of a mean way, then I will. If I can just get my point across by pure aggression, I will. But I like being versatile. I like being able to be Vertvixen in the ring, and really just, if I have to go one way, I can go one way, and I have to go the other, I can go the other way. I don't really have a complete preference, if that makes sense.
I see. Al OK says he seldom watches women's bouts for his sexist old man reasons, but he admires your work. He feels you're credible.
Well, thank you, but maybe you should reconsider your old sexist ways. I'll just point that out there.
I actually prefer watching women's wrestling these days, personally, than men's wrestling. And we actually have a company here in Canada called Great North Wrestling. And when we're allowed to promote again, my focus is actually going to be on women's wrestling. So maybe you could come up here if they ever end this lockdown.
Right.
What's your feelings on where women's wrestling is at right now? Probably more popular than ever. And I see a big future in it with girls like the Rock's daughter coming in.
100%. Like, one of my favorite matches that I've gone back and watched several times is that Bayley Sasha match from NXT Brooklyn. And I know that, Paige and other women too, like, I know that there have been so many women that have just started this revolution and created this women's evolution, it's been absolutely incredible. And right now, it's being a woman in wrestling, being somebody who just kind of got into wrestling, it kind of makes me emotional in a positive way, because I go back and I watch like the older stuff, and I go back and I see the progression over time, and it's clear that people are now taking women more seriously as wrestlers, and it makes me so happy, because I know there's women's wrestling and there's men's wrestling, but to me we're all just wrestlers, and like just let us show our craft and our talent and our passion and what we really care about, which is having good matches in that ring. So I think it's fantastic, and I cannot be more grateful than anything right now to be in wrestling at this time. And I do have to say that having a female trainer like Jazz, who is just, not only a female, but just a complete and utter badass, and in my opinion, one of the greatest women's wrestlers, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like, I cannot be more grateful to be a part of this, and I just want to help it continue to grow and do whatever I can to just continue to push women's wrestling in the right direction, because it's more popular than ever right now, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Luke wants to know, who would you compare yourself to in wrestling as to who you wrestle like?
I don't know how to answer that question, because I'm so critical of myself. I'm trying to, like, who I enjoy watching, who I'd like to be like, one day. Like, I love the aggression that Asuka has. I really love everything about like who Bayley is. But then there's people like Kylie, who is just she embodied the perfect just intensity and willpower, and that those are like, that's where I want to be, you know. I don't know who I would compare myself as to right now, because I'm not there yet, you know. Like, I'm working on that. I'm trying to find that. So that's a tough one, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a fan on here that said you had a nice run in during that Miranda Gordy match where you super kicked Christy James. That was cool. Eddie wants to know your favorite music while gaming.
Oh, yo, I don't play music while I game. I just listen to the game music. I'm one of those people. Like, even when I would play WoW back in the day and I would, like, you know, quest and just grind for hours, I would just enjoy the ambiance that was World of Warcraft. Like, I'm one of those people. I don't play music while I game.
Jackalope Music wants to know if you have any cool stories about jazz.
I do. I mean, yeah, it's okay. So Jazz is absolutely, absolutely amazing. Like, she's just the sweetest and most badass person that I've ever met. And she's so, like, down to earth and honest and truthful, and I love everything about her. She's like I don't know, she's like trainer and mom. I don't know how else to describe it, and I'm just so freaking grateful for her. Any cool jazz stories? Well, I mean, recently we just had a seminar, and it's just more funny than anything. They're very big about in training about intensity, and very big about, you know, really working and really just as we say, I don't know if I can say this, but just snatch a bitch, like, you know, just you know, get it. And Jazz was telling me, like, I was about to chain wrestle with one of the other girls, and Jazz just looks at me and she's like, "Hold up." She's like, "First of all, in one of your matches recently I watched, she's like, you snap-bared the girl and then you just slowly put her in a hold." And she imitated me, and she was just so slow with it. And she was like, she's like, we don't do that. We snatch a bitch. Like, got it. So I had to do it, and, like, you know, over and over to redo the movements. And then her and Rodney were both laughing about it, because they're like, we both caught it. We both thought it was the funniest thing. The whole class was laughing about it. And Jazz just kept imitating me, and it was just the funniest thing. And I was like, well, guess who's never doing that again? Like, I have learned my lesson.
And Vo Hall X wants to know, which countries would you like to wrestle in the most?
Whatever countries would take me. I mean, I really have my eyes on Japan. That would be absolutely, absolutely incredible. Adam got me into New Japan, and I'm all about it. I would really, really love to go wrestle in Japan. But I would love to wrestle in Canada. I would love to wrestle anywhere in the UK, just because all the styles are so different, and I want to learn everything I can. I'm one of those people that I'll never stop learning. I just want to keep absorbing. So, but there's nothing like those Japanese matches. Like, nothing like them.
Yeah, it would fit your style well over there. We do have at least one UK promoter that watches this channel from World Pro Wrestling, so maybe he'll check you out and give you an opportunity if these restrictions ever end. Hopefully they will soon.
Hopefully.
You guys are lucky in Texas that they seem to have eased up a bit, and they're allowing some fans with social distancing at shows. How has this lockdown affected you? Obviously, you must have lost some bookings over it.
Yeah. Yes. I lost a few beginning. Really, I mean, for me, I'm so new, or like when it first started happening, I was like 7 months into working. So it didn't really, it affected me in the sense of, like, I could no longer go to the gym, and we couldn't go to the ring. We couldn't train. I really felt for Adam, who had a lot of amazing opportunities ahead of him, and they were taken away with COVID. And I really, really felt for him with that. And with 2021, I just want to see us both flourish, you know? So I'm really looking forward to hopefully things calming down and, you know, getting better. I'm very grateful that, like, we can do social distancing and wearing masks. The numbers are still very scary, and This is still a very scary time, so it's kind of hard to gauge when things may, I don't know what normal is anymore. You know what I mean? I think that this is the current new norm and that this is just how it might be for a minute. So it's just,
yeah. Hopefully this vaccine coming out next month will help get things going in the right direction. There's a fan on here, Daniel Smith, that wants to know your opinion of the AEW brand.
I mean, it's awesome. Like it's, I love what AEW is doing. I love what they're doing with Dark, with the sense of, they're really giving all these incredible independent wrestlers really great opportunities. I have so many friends that have been on there that I'm just so happy for all of them, and some of them have gotten signed. I'm just so happy for all of them. And I also really like the I don't know how to explain it. Like, they've done a lot of really fun, cool stuff, and their show just feels different. And they've given a lot of people opportunities that I feel like maybe wouldn't have gotten opportunities if it was just WWE. And what I mean by that is just in the sense now that there's not just one powerhouse, and I know that there's Impact and Ring of Honor and all these other promotions as well. But now we've got kind of two powerhouses, and it's no longer like, really, it's more than two. It really nowadays, it's not like, okay, well, that's it. This is WWE is all you got. There's so many other options, and AEW has been just another incredible, great option. And it's possible to live your dreams now. You know what I mean? Like, it's more possible now because of everything that AEW is doing.
Carlos wants to know if you're making the kind of money in wrestling that you thought you would. I'm going to assume you might not be a full-time wrestler yet.
I am currently not a full-time wrestler, no. That is my ultimate goal. Also, no offense, Carlos, but I won't be discussing my finances with you. So,
what's your regular job?
I'm currently the community manager for Gunfire Games. We created Darksiders 3. We recently released Remnant from the Ashes, and on December 1st, we are releasing Chronos Before the Ashes, which is a re-release of a VR game that came out. We're just re-releasing it non-VR, especially because Remnant did so well, and Chronos was a prequel that was made a long, long time ago. So we're re-releasing it to the public, revamped and non-VR, so that people can get more of the story of what Remnant is. So that is my day job, and I love it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's in the domain that you're interested in, so that's pretty cool. You already answered that's your boyfriend's guitar, but yes. CC McCarley wants to know if you jam at all.
I do not. I sing on occasion, but I let him do the guitar playing because he's so freaking talented at it. I picked up a guitar maybe once or twice when I was a kid, and I was like, my fingers hurt, and then I was done.
Well, Thunder Rosa sang to us. Is there any way you could give us a few notes? The fans really like that.
I don't. Uh-oh, now I'm on the spot, and I'm not that good of a singer.
Well, you're a heel, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? Okay, you're putting me on the spot. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you Little Mermaid. We're going to do Little Mermaid. Okay, ready for some shitty singing, y'all? What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? Bet you on land they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters. That's all you get. I'm done.
That's not bad, actually.
Don't lie to me. This is why I wrestle and don't sing.
John says, what are your thoughts on Thunder Rosa? Obviously, you work for her Mission Pro Wrestling company. You must know her a little bit.
Thunder is amazing. She has definitely, first of all, she's an amazing person, extremely talented in the ring. I got to work with her once at SWE, and oh god, it was so much fun. It was competitive, and it was awesome. But also she's given women a lot of opportunities, and she's also given me personally a lot of opportunities. I've learned a lot from her, and soon I will be learning more from her because she is one of the head trainers at the Dog Pound. So I do have to say that I absolutely love and 100% respect Thunder Rosa. And I am so grateful for everything that she's doing right now for women's wrestling. If y'all don't know what Mission Pro Wrestling is, y'all need to check it out because it is an amazing all women's promotion. She's doing incredible things with it. And when I say all women, I mean all women, like behind the camera, on commentary, referees, all the talent, like production, everything. It's all women because she really wants to highlight all the talent that, us women have, and it wouldn't have happened without her. So I'm so grateful for her. And I am very blessed to be, I'm originally from California, so I am very blessed and grateful to be in Texas at this time and be in close enough proximity to work with someone like her and to learn from someone like her. So those are my thoughts on Thunder. And she's like I said, she's extremely talented. Like, holy crap.
What brought you to Texas? Your video game job or something else?
My job. Yeah. My job originally brought me to Texas. I moved here mid 2018, I think. I don't remember. It was maybe mid 2018 for my job. And then, yes, it was because my dad passed away in 2017. So yeah, so it was mid 2018 and I moved here for my job. Best thing I could have done for myself because I had never moved out of California. Like I lived in Los Angeles or in Irvine and I lived all over Southern California, but I'd never really left. And so Austin is beautiful. I've gotten to see a lot of Texas. I wouldn't have gotten into wrestling, I feel like, if I hadn't moved here. I would not have met the love of my life if I hadn't moved here. So it's just one of those things that, like, no doubt in my mind, this was the right thing for me to do, and I could not be happier about it.
I bet the traffic's better there than it is in LA as well.
100%. There's still traffic, but it's nothing like it was in LA.
Jay wants to know if you've ever seen the Von Erichs or any of that old school Texas wrestling.
I have seen some of the old school Texas wrestling. Yes, I have. Really, a lot of the older stuff that I've been watching recently is more like WCW. We just rewatched Savage and Steamboat WrestleMania 3, but I have seen some of that stuff. It's not my complete go-to, I will lie to you. So I don't know a ton about old school Texas wrestling. Yeah,
it peaked probably maybe 10 years before you were born or longer than that, I would imagine. And of course, you're from California anyway, so it's not like you would have grown up around people that talked about it. Someone wants to know your top 10 favorite wrestling matches. Maybe that's a bit much. Maybe you could just tell us maybe your top 2 or 3.
Okay, so let's start with, like I said before, Bailey and Sasha at Brooklyn NXT. Then we recently the Savage Steamboat match I just talked about. I really like. That's a go back and rewatch from WrestleMania 3, and then we just recently watched a triple threat with Rock, Kurt, and Undertaker, because if you know all the amazing Undertaker stuff that's been going on Vengeance 2002, and that match is just freaking incredible, so I would list those, and then there was one match it was Minoru Suzuki and Ibushi, I think. I don't remember what it was from, but it was absolutely just mind-blowing. So those are just a few that are off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. I have to write matches down because I have the worst freaking memory.
Yeah, most of us wrestlers do have bad memories. Sam says you could call your finisher the Snatch a Bitch, speaking of Jazz's quote there.
My finisher is called Game Over, but I like that too.
Carlos wants to know who's that picture of on the chair. The Undertaker. There you go.
It's my boyfriend's blanket. It's Adam's blanket that he's had since he's a kid, and he was snuggling with it while we were watching he was holding it real tight while we were watching the Survivor Series. And I'm like, I'm going to put this on my chair as background because Taker is a badass and we all need to pay homage to him.
And as far as The Undertaker, what are your thoughts on his retirement as you're just bringing him up right now?
I don't want him to be done. I don't want it to be true. It's one of those things where it's like, nah, he can't be done. He'll come back. He's done this before. He'll come back. But also it was one of those things while we were watching it, I had goosebumps and chills. And I was like, maybe this is it. Like when you just like kind of feel it. I was like, maybe this really is it. I don't want it to be it because especially as a newer fan who's now just really getting to see everything that Taker did, I'm just like, I don't want this to be over. I want to see more, but it's also like that farewell just felt so real, that I'm sad. I'm very sad.
The one at the Orlando WrestleMania also felt real, so
who
knows?
That's a good point. Who knows?
Now, as far as your name, Vertvixen, what's the origins of that name?
So that actually comes from 3D modeling. So like I said, I actually have a bachelor's degree in video game art and design, and I worked as a 3D video game artist for like 4 years for a couple different video game studios. I don't know if y'all remember that game WildStar from like forever ago, but I worked on that at Carbine. And then I worked at this other company called Fireforge, which is long gone dead. So Vert is a part of a 3D model. So a Vert on a 3D model, at least, I don't know what the common current terminology is, but you would have verts, which are points, which create lines. And then those lines create faces or polygons. And then those faces or polygons is what actually creates the model. So Vert comes from that. It comes from my 3D modeling background.
Oh, that's cool. Did you ever play the Far Cry video games?
I never played Far Cry. It just was not my cup of tea, but I know about Far Cry, but I've never played it.
I was in a commercial for Far Cry 5. That's the only reason why. I'm not really a gamer, but that's one of the newer ones I'm aware of.
Hell yeah. You're like, I know this one because I was a part of it.
Yeah, my gaming stopped at Super Nintendo, which is probably before you were even born. As far as cosplay, that's, I guess, where you dress up and you go to Comic Cons and various events in anime outfits or comic book character outfits. I don't know much about it, but how did you get into it, and what are some of the best outfits that you've done over the years?
So I got into it. I kind of just stumbled into it. I got invited to BlizzCon one year and I wanted to dress up. So my friend had been doing cosplay and and so I asked her to help me make a costume. So she helped me make a succubus from World of Warcraft because it was BlizzCon and I wanted to dress up like a World of Warcraft character. And I had so much fun doing it with her. I was like, I want to do this. So then I made Codex from the Guild. If any of y'all know what the Guild is, shout out to Felicia Day. She is I love her. And I just was like, I need to make more. So I would find myself coming home from work or even at work, having like YouTube tutorials on and learning how to make all this stuff. And I just fell in love with it. The more and more I learned about it and the more and more stuff I made, I self-taught myself how to sew and how to make armor and how to paint stuff properly and how to sculpt. And I just kept going and I just completely fell in love with it. And then I created my social media and stuff kind of started taking off from there. And it became my job for a little bit, which was absolutely crazy that I was making a living off of it. But my favorite cosplays and kind of the ones I'm most well known for, I did the Lich King or the Lich Queen. It was a female version of Arthas from World of Warcraft. And that one was completely digitally sculpted and 3D printed. And I was one of the first people to do that back in the day. So that one got me a lot of attention. It's one of my favorites. I also did a lot of cami. And Bison Cami is one of the ones that got me also seen a lot. So that was a really fun one to do. And then one of my favorites that actually got me second place in the Twitch costume contest was this character named Shard from Court of the Dead. And Court of the Dead is a IP created by Sideshow Collectibles. If y'all know what Sideshow Collectibles are, they make like the most high-end collectible figures that you can get. And they had their own IP and they asked me to cosplay this character for them. And that outfit was real leather, hand sculpted, like my coup de grace of cosplay. Like that one, have it in a box, and as soon as Adam and I get a house, I'm like, I want to put it up on display because it's legit a piece of art. And I got her tattoo on my shoulder. Oh, I forgot about this one. That's 5 tattoos. I forgot about this tattoo. That's 5. But I got her tattoo on my shoulder because she was the first costume that I was ever hired to make, or like and hired to do. So it was my like professional, you know, I don't know. That's a lot. There you go. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, you're actually, I don't know if you're more popular as a cosplay person or a wrestler, because when I searched your name to look up information on you, all these pictures pop up of Vertvixen and you're hardly recognizable. I wasn't even sure if it was the same person, but then I watched some of your clips and obviously it was you. So that's pretty cool that you're popular in 2 domains now.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I'm trying to kind of bring cosplay a little bit, since I'm the baddest nerd you've ever seen. I'm trying to bring cosplay a little bit more into my wrestling gear. And in fact, my next set is being made by Tanya Martin, who's absolutely amazing. She made my current set. And let's just say it's basically a cosplay, but not. Like, it's still wrestling gear, but it's a cosplay. And I'm so freaking excited about it. I can't wait to get it. Hopefully I'll be debuting it here in January. I'm super stoked.
Furman Perez says you and Jasmine Allure have had amazing matches all over Texas. I edited one of her matches the other day. She's very talented. Any thoughts on her and your matches?
Yeah, so her and I actually, we trained together, and we started training together at AAPW, and we are currently training together at the Dog Pound. She's one of my greatest friends in wrestling and one of my greatest rivals in the sense of competition. But she is exceptionally and extremely talented. Her and I have had some amazing matches together, and I cannot wait. Like, we have another one coming up at GCWA, and I cannot wait for that match too. But I'm definitely grateful to have somebody like her, because we get to travel together, we get to train together, and of course we get to either, you know, we'll face each other sometimes, or if we don't, then we're there to support each other for our current matches. So Jasmine's awesome. Everybody should check her out. She's amazing.
Who would be some of the wrestlers today that you would like to wrestle? Like maybe your top 3 or so from anywhere. It could be WWE or AEW.
Okay, from anywhere. Man, one of my original tops was Kylie Rae, but I'm so sad. I am so sad. I love her. Let me think here. Who do I would love to get in the ring against Bayley, hands down, because like I said, she's everything that, like, she's amazing. I love, like I said too, Asuka. I absolutely freaking love her, and I would love to stand off and face her in the ring. And then luckily I've already faced off with Thunder, but there's so many more on the indies. But there's this girl, Red Velvet, who's been on AEW Dark, and she was recently signed by AEW, and I would love to face her because she is, talk about talent. That girl is just incredible. Like, ugh, she melts my heart.
What are your thoughts on intergender matches, and have you had many of them?
For me, intergender wrestling is wrestling, right? And I have had, so one of my first intergender match was against Adam. And it's one of my favorite matches I've ever had. And he and I have talked about how fun it would be to run it back now that it's been about a year since we've had it. Actually, over a year now. Has it? Yes, it has. But we definitely want to run that one back. And like I said, that was one of my favorite matches because we just pushed the hell out of each other. But for me, wrestling is wrestling. And so intergender to me it's just wrestling. I don't know how else to describe it. For me personally, I prefer women's, for me personally, I prefer women's wrestling just in the sense of I would prefer to have more matches against women than I would men. Unless of course it's like an intergender tag team match. And, we had one at VIP. Sadly, we weren't able to finish the match, but it was Adam and I versus Erica Torres and Double D. And that match would have been, it started as Complete Fire and it would have ended as Complete Fire. So we're hoping that we can run that one back too. But for me personally with intergender, I'm cool with intergender tag. and it's wrestling is wrestling, but I do prefer women's matches for me personally.
I interviewed Lindsay Snow last week. She's been on AEW against Thunder Rosa recently, and I know she's wrestled a lot in Texas. Any thoughts on her? And would you be intimidated to wrestle a bodybuilder style girl like that?
You mean Lindsay Snow? Yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay Snow.
You're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to verify. I was like, Leslie Snow. Like, oh, Lindsay. I would love to face Lindsay in the ring. And no, I'm not intimidated. Just because, like, first of all, no, I'm not like a completely stacked bodybuilder, but I've got muscle, and I could definitely hold my own in a ring with somebody like that. Especially because I rely on evasion and strikes and be quick, but I would love to face her in the ring. I think that we would have a phenomenal, fantastic match. Like, bring me Lindsay Snow. Let's do this. She's awesome. I love her.
Some people are saying in the comments they want to see you against Jazz, and Sam is mentioning she's retired. Well, the news of yesterday is Jazz is already out of retirement. So is there any chance you think we might see you against Jazz in the future? I
would love that. That would honestly, that would be a dream match for me. Would be to actually, I mean, because we trained together. I mean, she's my trainer, so we trained, but I would love to actually be across from her in a ring in front of a crowd. Like, that would be goals. Or next to her tagging, like I know her and Jordan with Impact, right? Like, that would be amazing. And I'm so happy and excited that she's on freaking Impact. I can't wait to watch it. I'm so excited for her.
As far as the wrestling companies that are out there, as you mentioned, there's so many now: AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, MLW as well. Is there one particular federation that you follow closely?
I mean, currently, just because we don't have all of the channels and everything, AEW Dark's on YouTube, so I catch that. And then we have the network, so everything WWE, we catch that. Catch Dynamite on occasion when we can. And then New Japan, because we have that. And then Adam just got IWTV. He's been watching a lot more of that independent stuff on there, but I definitely personally need to check that stuff out more as well. I need access so I can watch more Impact. Like, I need access because it's got everything else apparently. And I'm like, can we just have one, like, can everyone just work together and like get on one app? Like, one app? And Furman, that's not possible.
Yeah, maybe one day. I mean, there's some apps like the Fight app that have multiple promotions, but you do have to pay for a lot of the content. There's United Wrestling Network too that works with the NWA. I don't know if you've seen them, but they've had Thunder Rosa on there, of course. Lots of top talent on United Wrestling Network. They're based out of LA. As far as WWE, have you had any tryouts yet? I know Mark Henry is a WWE scout. He's going to be at the next SWE Fury event, December 12th. So any contact with them?
No, I have not. No tryouts or anything. Nothing special. In fact, it was actually hilarious. I was talking to one of my friends because my family lives in Florida, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to be going to Florida soon." And they looked at me and they're like, "Oh, why are you going to Florida?" And I laughed and I was like, "Girl, it's just for family." But there's nothing yet. Maybe one day, maybe 2021. But like I said, I'm still really new to this business, and right now I'm just learning and grinding, and I want to be ready when that time comes. So the grind just doesn't freaking stop.
How many matches have you had approximately at this point?
Maybe around 100. I really need to write them all down, but maybe like 75 to 100, I think, because it's been pretty consistent, in all honesty. Definitely with including practice matches. Something like that.
Now, I posted that match where you defeated Holy Dead on this channel that fans can look up. I posted it last week. But is there any other matches on YouTube that you would suggest fans search up if they want to see like some of your best work so far?
Definitely check out Title Match Network, and specifically Mission Pro. I've had some good matches on there. Really, my last one I just had with Lacey Ryan at the Slash Mission Pro. So I definitely recommend you checking that one out. And then, yeah, the Holly Dead one. And then I had one on SW with Christy James as well that I would also recommend checking out. Hopefully this one, I just worked Row last night. And so once that comes out, I recommend that one as well. But hopefully my newer matches have you get better as you go. So it just takes time, right? Gotta you suck until you don't suck, and then you still suck. You know what I mean?
Big Consequences wants to know if you've wrestled in Shimmer yet.
I have not wrestled in Shimmer, no.
Now, our champion of Great North Wrestling here is Lufisto. She's had lots of Shimmer matches. Have you ever seen her in action?
I have. Lufisto's a legend. Yes, I have seen Lufisto, and she is a badass.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely up there. Has wrestled a lot of men, too. For some reason, none of the big companies have given her a chance, but she's definitely an independent legend. Mm-hmm. Where can people follow you on social media if they want to look you up and stay in tune with what you're up to?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, and it's facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay, old stuff. If you look at Vertvixen, it should come up. And then I'm also, I'm on Twitter, which is @Vertvixen. Instagram is also @Vertvixen, and I'm also on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Vertvixen. And like I said, I'll probably be streaming here shortly because why not? It's been a minute.
I just added a Twitch account a couple days ago at Great North Wrestling for anyone that wants to follow it, but I know nothing about Twitch other than you can put like this on there, for instance, which is what I'm doing now as well. What is Twitch? Can you fill me in a little bit? Because I know it has to do with gaming.
Yeah, well, originally Twitch was just a game streaming platform where you would go on and you would live stream games, and fans would be able to interact with you while you do it. And now it's so much more than that. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I can't think. But now it's so much more than that. Like you can do, people do cooking. People just do talking. Some people do talk shows. They'll host live events on there now. Obviously, there's still gaming, but there's crafting on there now too. Like there's so much. It's basically, as long as you're like in the right channel, you can live stream anything. People live stream workouts. People live stream meditation. People live stream watching wrestling and reviewing it. Like you can really find anything on Twitch nowadays, and it's basically just live stream, live interaction with somebody while they're doing something else, or even just answering questions. So it's definitely recommended if you haven't all checked out Twitch. It's great. It's fantastic.
There's all this controversy now with WWE wrestlers not being able to be on there anymore because I guess they make money. How do you make money on Twitch?
So people can subscribe to your channel, and when they subscribe to you, you make money off of that. People can also tip. So if you're doing something fun or funny that they like, people can tip you. So really those are the two main ways, are subscriptions and tipping. But you create, really too, while live streaming on Twitch, you create like a loyal fan base, and really people that are supporting you. So sometimes they'll just support you in any way they can. Like I know back in the day, I would be sent gifts and stuff like that when I was doing it more hardcore. Or they would just, like I said, they would just tip. Like I would be like, oh, I'm hungry. And they're like, here, like, go get a pizza. I'm like, okay, bet, So it's really just, it's a community. Honestly, Twitch, for me, it became like a family, which is why I really feel for the superstars who can't stream anymore, because it's not just about making money and revenue. It's about like creating a community and having a family that you can come on and just have a good time with. And really the fans and the support is what makes independent successful, so I feel for them in that.
Now you mentioned getting gifts and tips from fans. Could you share with us your best fan experience as well as your worst? Because I'm sure you've had some creeps on there. Even watching your interview, I guess there's some people that are like obsessed with your ass, I guess.
No comment on that one, because that's just, people on the internet are no, bad. Don't do that. Don't degrade women that way. I mean, I've had some. So best ones is like I've had people who just watched my Twitch stream and they wanted to support me so much that they helped me moderate. And then often, like I said, they would send tips, or they would just donate their time to help make sure that my channel stayed safe. AKA if somebody was being inappropriate or anything like that, they would handle that situation for me without really me having to do anything, which is fantastic. And then one of my worst fan interactions was I had somebody who kind of was stalking me at a convention once, and he didn't get the hint, even though security told him that they needed to leave me alone. And then it got to the point where my friend, this was back in like 2015, one of my friends who was a cop, who was also a cosplayer, he had to get involved and get the guy away from me. And then the guy continued to bother me and message me and stalk me online, and nothing ever came of it, luckily. But that was just not a fun experience. And even though we're on the internet, we're people too, like we have feelings and lives. Like, I think people forget that sometimes.
Yeah, you have one hater in the chat that I won't say his name too. There's lots of haters on the internet, but it just means that you're becoming more popular the more you get. Do you have a way of dealing with those either weirdos or the people that are haters?
Screw them. Like honestly, sorry. Like I just don't give them the attention. It's like it's how do I explain this? I really don't care. Like, it's just gotten to that point that, like, if you want to be disrespectful, or if you want to be mean, or like, you're obviously doing it for your own reasons, your own insecurities and your own issues, and I really don't care. So if you want to be mean and rude like that, you do you, boo. I'm gonna do me, and you ain't paying my bills, so I ain't paying you no mind. Like, that's my mentality, is who cares?
And you're a heel anyways, so I'm pretty sure you don't really care about the haters. I mean, that just means you're doing your job well.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like, when I'm in the ring, if you're booing me, good. Like, good. That's cool. And if I'm the good guy that night and you're cheering, then good. Perfect. But yes.
Now, I know there was a few topics that Tom, the SWE Fury promoter, wanted us to cover. Did we naturally go through them, or is there anything we left out?
We got some of them. So I also just want to say that I mentioned some people that will be there before, but we're also going to have former WWE Tag Team Champion Charlie Haas and two former NWA champions, Tim Storm and Jax Dane, will also be there. And women's wrestling icon Malia Hosaka will also be there. We have a lot of SWE, my brain, SWE Fury stars that are going to be there, including, well, he is WWE, Rodney Mack. And then SWE, we've got Brett McKenzie, Miranda Gordy, the Magnificent Malico, Christy Janes, Niles Plonk, the manager Nigel Rabbit, Chandler Hawkins, and a lot more. Myself. And then there is a toy drive that's going to be happening, a Christmas toy drive. So if you're coming to the show, please bring a toy for the toy drive. And I just want to make sure I got all of it. Oh, if you would like to check out the show, we are on Fight TV. Also, there are a lot of local CW channels, and you can get all of that information about the show coming up, as well as where to find us at SWEfury.com. So I think that was everything. I just want to make sure I covered everything.
That's pretty cool that you guys are on the CW network. I mean, SmackDown used to be on that channel. Have you noticed getting recognized more since you've been appearing for SWE Fury? It shows a little bit, not so much. It is the CW local channels. So
and I don't have local cable, so I don't know what the channels are. But not yet. Maybe one day. But it is really, really cool that that we're on the Fight TV app, because personally I have that. It's just really easy to just look up, you know. I like watching on the Fight TV app.
So what's your ultimate goal in wrestling?
My ultimate goal is, I mean, really, I want that WrestleMania moment. You know, like, really, we all want that WrestleMania moment. But a contract, and not just a contract, but really paying my bills with this, being able to take care of my family with this. You know, one day I do, you know, I want to marry Adam. I want to have kids one day, and I would like to be able to, you know, support our family with wrestling. Like, that would be the goal, right? Is to make my living wrestling. So I guess that's the ultimate goal, is to pay my bills with wrestling, and not only pay my bills, but be successful within it. If that means a contract, if that means a lot of independent shows, whatever that means. It's, but yeah, WrestleMania would be amazing.
And you want to just let fans know again your social media, or if you have a t-shirt store or anywhere they can look you up or buy your merchandise?
Yeah, my big cartel is, I started it, I never finished it. I have to get back on that. But like I said, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Alicia Cosplay. You can find me on Instagram at Vertvixen, Twitter at Vertvixen, and then you can also find me, oh, I'm so sorry. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Vertvixen.
And to close this off, I mean, I usually get my wrestlers that I interview to give a little taste of the promo ability to the fans here. So I was wondering, let's just say you're having a match with that Brazilian wrestler in the future, which I'm sorry, her name is slipping my mind, but the
Christy
one
James, I got you.
Yeah. Could you finish this off by maybe cutting a little promo on her? It might not be December 12th, but I'm sure you'll run into her. She already had a taste of your super kick, and she might want some revenge on you.
I mean, she's had a taste of my super kick and my missile drop kick. But Christy, you are the Brazilian superstar. You have traveled all over the world. You have worked some amazing, incredible places. But girl, your game has nothing on mine. And yes, you've tasted my super kick. You've tasted that missile drop kick. And we might be tit for tat when it comes to our matches. But none of that scares me, because I have put all of my XP points in all of the stats that I need, in my strength, in my tactical skills, in the ring, in my striking abilities, and of course, like, as you know, my high flying abilities. So girl, it's on. It's over. And I'm going to make you taste my game over. And it's done for you. It's completely done. So you just better level up before I alt F4 your ass.